I'm Deidre. Welcome back to the Crazy Black Church Girl podcast. I'm glad you're here. Today's topic will be self-care is more than bubble baths and girls trips. And I hope you stay around for the conversation. Let's get started. Now, self-care and soft life and stuff like that have actually become a trend. And what it promotes is actual stuff on the outside, physical stuff to take care of your physical. And it wants to promote things like taking bubble baths, burning candles, reading books, drinking a glass of wine, taking a girls trip, those type of things. And those type of things are great. You know, it's good to have activity that you can do to promote your well-being. But a lot of times, self-care is more than just bubble baths and girls trips. Self-care includes taking care of your emotional as well as your mental and as well as your physical. So I want to share with you today my thoughts on what self-care actually is. According to Wikipedia, self-care is the process of establishing behaviors to ensure holistic well-being of oneself. And that's a good definition. You know, it's all-encompassing. You know, it's not just about what I can do on the outside or what I can do that people can see that'll promote my self-care. Now, why are we doing self-care? Are we doing it for other people's validation, or are we actually doing it for ourselves? For me, self-care, one of the main parts of self-care that I have encountered is setting boundaries. I had a hard time setting boundaries with people, and I had a hard time accepting people's boundaries. I would basically allow you to come and go into my space as you please, to actually do or say things to me that you would like to, even though they were offensive, and I wouldn't say anything. But now I'm learning to set my boundaries. Setting boundaries is all-encompassing. You can set boundaries in every area of your life, and you have to protect your peace. I make t-shirts, and I make t-shirts for my friends, and I also make them to sell. I get a lot of requests, and the requests I get are not bad requests, but there's some of the stuff that the customer wants to do that I don't think should be done. And because I don't think they should be done, I have the permission or the go-ahead to say no to the job or to making the t-shirt. I don't have to do that, you know. I don't have to, and people always say the customer's always right. Well, where are your values? Are they in money and making money, or are they in representing who you are in everything that you do? You know, I'm not a money hungry, hustling type girl. I used to be, but today I found peace in just fulfilling my purpose and doing things that are enjoyable and are beneficial for me. You know, and I don't want to sound selfish, because I by far am not a selfish person, but it comes a time where you have to put down the law. You have to set a boundary and say, no, this is not what I'm going to do. I do not want to do that. Even in social situations, people might offer you stuff. People might say, oh girl, just go ahead and taste it. It's good, but you know you don't like it. I would have tasted it before. But today, I say, no, I don't want that. Sorry. You know, no, I choose not to have that today. Sorry. No, girl, I don't want it. And whatever situation you find yourself in, you can use any of those inflections. But the answer is no. No is a complete sentence. You know, no does not need any explanation. If I tell you no, that's what it is. You know, so many people try to convince me or persuade me. But today my answer is no, you know, and that's what it is. And that's a part of taking care of my emotional self. I don't have to allow things into my space that made me feel uncomfortable, that made me feel insecure, that made me feel vulnerable. I don't have to have none of that stuff in my space if I choose not to. Another part of setting boundaries is resting. Getting sleep. Taking time to just take care of yourself. Go to bed at night. Wake up in the morning refreshed. Even if you have to take a nap during the day, that's cool. But go to bed and sleep. Don't pick up your phone at midnight if you wake up to go to the bathroom. Don't pick up your phone and start scrolling. Get some rest. Sometimes rest just encompasses sitting on your couch and watching TV. That's rest for you. That's good. Sometimes rest can be reading a book that you enjoy. But rest your mind. Get your mind off the stress. You know what I'm saying? Get your mind off worrying. And rest. Sometimes people consider rest and sleep to be two different things. I believe that you rest when you sleep, but I believe that you can rest other ways as well. Also, it's important to keep your mind and your body active. You have to move. You have to move your mind. Don't just become a zombie and just take in everything that you encounter on social media or on TV. A lot of stuff out there is not real. People today can make a post about virtually anything. It could be completely false. They use AI to put in famous people and also change their voice, and they can do anything with a social media. If I get on social media and decide to type something that looks semi-professional and post it, people are gonna believe that it's true. So it don't matter. Just know what your values are. Don't consume so much social media. Fellowship on social media. Get on there and talk to your friends. Post about your day. You know what I mean? Or whatever's going on in your life that you feel good about. If you have a business, you can promote your business. But don't take in all the BS. Don't take in all the propaganda. Don't do that. Just you have to keep your mind active. And that includes reading. I'm struggling right there. I used to love to read. I would read and read and read and read, but I've gotten lazy because of social media and the internet. I've gotten lazy. And so instead of reading something, I'll just look on Google and find the synopsis or the summary and just read the summary. And that's not good. Puzzles are a good way to keep your mind active. Doing puzzles, interacting in games where you have to think. Those are all ways to keep your mind active. So it's important to keep your mind active and your body active. I'm struggling with that as well because I shared with y'all that I suffer from chronic pain. And if you're in pain every day, most of the day, then that is something in itself that you have to deal with. But it's a challenge to be physically active if you're in pain. But I've found ways to stay active. And some of the ways that I've found are simply just doing things around the house. Cleaning and moving stuff around or organizing stuff is a way to keep your body active. And I also make sure that I go outside every day and walk somewhere. Even if it's just to the mailbox, because the mailbox is way over there. And so I walk back and forth to the mailbox. I've gotten a good little heartbeat in, and that's what I can do right now. A lot of people can do more because they're more physically able to do that. But do what you can, but do something. When you do self-care, when you're doing self-care, it's important to do things that you actually like to do. People invite you out to do stuff and you're not really too crazy about it. Like if somebody invites me to Dave and Buster's, I can't do a whole lot. But I would go because you asked me. And then I look like I'm not having fun, which I'm really not because I can't do nothing. So that's not a place that I would like to go. let's go to the park, somewhere where we can walk around, we can sit down, we can still talk, we can throw rocks, we can do something. We can do stuff outside. It doesn't have to be, inside. And that's what I would prefer to do instead of going to Craig and Buster's. Greg and, what is it called? Whatever. Spirituality is an excellent way to take care of yourself. My spiritual life is very, very, very important to me. I'm a Christian. I believe in prayer. I have great faith. I believe in Jesus. Sometimes it's taboo to say Jesus, but I believe in Jesus. Those are my beliefs. That's what I believe. And so I'm active in my beliefs. I pray, I meditate, I read the Bible, I read other devotional books, and I stay grounded. And it keeps me grounded. My faith has gotten me a long way. Practicing mindfulness is so important, and I've learned that through therapy. A lot of people aren't aware of mindfulness and how you can center yourself and refocus yourself by just becoming aware and mindful of what's going on around you, what's actually the current situation. So I need to take some breaths and be mindful of my breath and be mindful of what I'm thinking at the time, and just let my thoughts pass through. Don't ruminate or meditate on a thought. And when you're worrying, let the worry just pass, because most of the times there's nothing you can do about it right in that certain situation, right in that moment. So let the worry pass through, but then refocus yourself. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your heartbeat. Meditate for a minute, just sit there and let your thoughts be your thoughts. But sometimes you have to center yourself and focus. When you're unfocused, you have to center yourself and focus. And that means bringing yourself back to right now. That's all it is. Being mindful of your surroundings and bringing yourself back to right now. And this is an excellent tool, especially if you have anxiety or if you worry a lot. Practicing gratitude and appreciation. You might say, oh, that's not self-care. That's caring for other people's feelings. No. Practicing gratitude and appreciation is self-care for you. It lets you see how blessed you are, how things are actually working out for you. The worry comes in and brings about the negative, but the gratitude makes you see what you actually have, with the things that you really don't have to worry about because it's working out for your good. So I make gratitude lists very, very often, and they help me to stay centered and focused. Affirmations are a great way to take care of yourself. Sometimes I'll just listen to recorded affirmations, like even on YouTube, listen to recorded affirmations and let them just go into my hearing, and it boosts me up. It does. It helps me because those things are in my self-conscious, and what's in your self-conscious can be accessed by your conscious. So that way, when it's there, it's already there, and you can just bring those things up and say, no, I am a beautiful and wonderful woman who has great potential and great possibility. Those are things that you should hear daily from yourself, especially if you're struggling with self-esteem or self-confidence and stuff like that. Journaling for emotional release and clarity. Journaling for emotional release and clarity. This is what actually started me making journals, because journaling, even before I knew what it was, I would just write out my feeling, because I couldn't say it. I couldn't express it, so I just wrote it. And I wrote, and sometimes it didn't make sense. And sometimes I would put a bunch of zeros, and sometimes I would just scratch out the page. And sometimes that was when I was in my anger. And sometimes I would write. I would just write about how I was feeling, how bad I was feeling, how people made me sick, how I wish things would change. And that helped me to release what I was really feeling on the inside. And then once you get that out, you can start focusing on the positive. And so those are just some things that I believe that are beneficial for self-care. It's important that we take care of ourselves. We only have this one body on earth, and I believe God has a purpose for everybody. And so if we don't take care of ourselves, we might not be able to fulfill the purpose that God has for us. If we're all beaten down and broke down and burnt out, how can we do the will of God in our lives, the jobs that He has for us to do, you know? So I pray that everybody take this to heart and start practicing self-care in your life on a daily basis. I pray that you have a wonderful week ahead, and God bless you.